Hi guys, this is Emerson Aurora Design. I'm Crystal, and I'm going to show you how I made this Sunflowers and Denim inspired cup. I started off with a 30-ounce hog tumbler that I sanded, washed, and spray painted white. Right now I skipped showing you the step of putting a thin layer of epoxy on because I'm going to use epoxy method for my glitters. So I have various shades of and cuts of yellow. I have these here. They're from the Glitter Craze, and I will link all of the glitters I use below in the description box. I'm using a mix of fine, chunky, and a mixture of fine and chunky together. Some are highly sparkly, others are pearl. This is a pearl chunky mix that's really beautiful. I really love it. I'm going to use a combination of the fine and the chunky of the pearl. That's the pearl fine there. So this is going to be a peekaboo style cup. So the way I like to spread my glitter, I always do a swirl. You can layer your glitters however you like, whatever looks good to you. This is just the style that I do. I like to have the different glitters, the different shines of glitters, combinations to really make that peekaboo look like it has a lot of depth. It really does look pretty once you put the vinyl on and spray paint it and peel it off. You'll see the depth of the glitters below, and that's just the style that I like to do. But you can try anything that you like, and I'll let you watch this here. Sometimes with peekaboos I don't bother with glittering the bottom, but this one I'm going to put a peekaboo on the bottom, so I wanted that to have some glitter on it. So don't forget to do that if you want to add a peekaboo. So once it's all the glitters applied, I like to take a gloved finger and just pat down my chunky glitters to help them to lay flat. This helps me so that I don't have to add as many layers of resin over the glitter. I think I ended up doing one thick coat of resin after this one set to cover those glitters. It did a really good job of covering. So I went ahead and I sanded that cup. This is after I'd put the next layer of resin over, and I sanded that cup down and washed it with some alcohol. And these are the images I'm going to use. It took me forever to weed, so I didn't put that in here. I'm going with one large sunflower kind of as the center point, and then I'm going to place the smaller ones in different, just kind of random scattered order. With my peekaboos, I really love to show as much glitter as I can. I always think it's a shame to cover up all that glitter, so I add a lot of decals on this. I always like to let my peekaboo glitters shine through because I don't know, I can't hide glitter. I love glitter so much. So watch me just put these on here. The one thing about curved cups, they drive me crazy, putting decals on, and this one is a rather large vinyl. So how I'm doing it is I centered it down the center, rub down the center, and you could peel it back up as I'm doing here and kind of stretch that transfer tape to go over that curve a little better. I'm not too worried about this being completely perfect. This is going to be a peekaboo, so that vinyl will be pulled up here in a little while. If I were doing a vinyl image or name, and that would be showing and not a peekaboo, I would really take my time. But this ended up laying pretty flat. You just have to kind of have some patience with it. It doesn't matter. You can cut that transfer tape if you need to make slits in it to help it lay flat. This image really lended to me going over that curve because it had many little pieces, so I could peel them up and fix them if they were I'm laughing because I was trying to get fancy with my editing there. If you can't tell, that I was trying to make it look like the sticker just kind of would slap on there, but anyway, not that good at editing yet. So for this top and bottom portion, I wanted to have more flowers on there, so I just cut one of them and made it look like half of the sunflower was peeking through. Like I said, I love to have as much glitter peeking through as I can, so I'll just let you finish watching this. This is really bad footage of me spray painting, but I start off with the Ultra Matte 2x from Rust-Oleum. It's a white. And then I'm going to take this Royal Blue, it's also by Rust-Oleum, and I'm just doing kind of a splotchy spray over the white. It is not covered fully. You can see it there. It looks kind of like sprayed, splotchy. I'm going for a denim look, so that's the reason. So now it is here dry. I let that sit and dry for a long time. So I'm using this paint. It's acrylic paint from Artist Loft. I got from Michael's. It's metallic blue, I believe. I'll leave the color in the description box. So I want to do a dry brush technique. This is a metallic paint, and it'll give it just an added shine. So I'm just going to kind of dry brush that on in streaks. I'm not going for perfect coverage. Like I said, I'm trying to go for a brushed denim look. So it ends up being kind of pretty. You'll see how shiny that is here in a few minutes. So that first layer of paint dried, and you can kind of see that metallic shine. I'm just going in here with a second coat just to give it a little more coverage. And you'll see what I do after. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a geode effect on this also to make it look like kind of ripped. I don't know. It's very abstract, like ripped jeans kind of, to show that yellow glitter through with the sunflowers underneath with a stencil. So you want to do all this while the stencil's still in place if you're going to do the geode effect, so that way you don't mess up your stenciled flowers. So you can see that pretty metallic shine. So I'm going to take a little bit of acetone, and I'm going to have alcohol also. It's 91% isopropyl alcohol. And those are in my little jars that I bring over. My labels have rubbed off, but I know which one's which. So you're going to take small pieces of paper towel. You can use Q-tips, paper towel, whatever you like to use the most. I do recommend wearing gloves when you do this part. I'm going to go in with a little bit of acetone. That really pulls that paint completely off, so be real careful. You don't want it to drip, because if it drips, it's going to take that paint off. and you already worked so hard to get that looking right, the paint. So I'm just going to rub off some of that and go back in here with the alcohol. The alcohol takes a little bit more elbow grease, so I use that to clean the smudges of the paint left behind by that acetone. So just you're going to go back and forth the acetone and the alcohol to create little geodes openings, I guess you'd say. I layered the paint blue, the metallic blue, the blue spray paint, and the white because I liked the look of that underneath. I'm okay with that white showing through. And as I rub this alcohol over, you'll see me going through and kind of doing a little bit more. It's going to take off that acrylic paint on top too, so it actually gives it a lot of depth. It's going to have kind of streaks of the metallic, streaks of the blue, the geode underneath, and then eventually we'll have the peekaboo flowers. So I'll let you just kind of watch this. If you have any questions, just drop me a comment and I'll do my best to answer them. So you may notice that I was rubbing some of that paint off that was over the stencils, and that's fine. The blue paint actually deposited around the stencil, so when I peel this stencil up, it actually has like an outline, so it worked out really well. This is a little weeding tool I found at the Dollar Tree. Neat little find for only $1. It's got a sharp end on it, and it really worked well to peel up this vinyl. This is a tedious job. There's a lot of petals there, but I don't know. Are you guys like me? I'm weird. I like this intricate work here, so maybe it's just me. I don't know. So just be careful when you're doing this, we are pulling up the stencil. You don't want to scratch the other paint. If you do, you can come back in with a little rubbing alcohol and just kind of buff it out. Since this is more of a distressed look, it would be perfectly fine. But you just want to be real careful, because if you have like a streaky scratch, it won't look the greatest. And here's what I have so far. I do know that I did not weed the bottom yet, and I forgot a center of one of the flowers, but that's fine. I go back and pull that off later. I'm just going to go in and kind of clean this up just a little bit, give it a little bit more of a distressed look. I'm just using rubbing alcohol to let a little more of the white show through. And as I turn the cup, you can kind of see the difference between the blue spray paint and the metallic blue. It just has a little bit more depth. You could see it better later on after the resin's on. One thing about using the alcohol or acetone after you peel those stencils, just be careful, because you're going to get that paint bleed over into those areas where you don't want. So just be careful. You're going to have to clean it up with some rubbing alcohol and maybe a Q-tip to get in those fine little places. So now it's time for a layer of resin. This cup only required one more layer. It was really smooth and I had good coverage on the glitter before, so since I'm not adding any decals or extra vinyl, it was really smooth after this step. This cup is so beautiful. I was even surprised at how pretty it turned out. That yellow against the blue, those colors are so good together. It's been getting warm here in southern Indiana, so I was inspired to make something warm and sunny. I'm ready for spring. And I know sunflowers aren't a spring flower, but I just love sunflowers, so I wanted to go with that. Tell me what you guys think. I would love to see your take on this cup. It's neat to try to find different ways of adding texture and different products like the acrylic paints and micas, and I like to use, just experiment. I want to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I hope that I've inspired you to maybe create something beautiful, and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. I do have a lot more tutorials coming up that I want to share with everybody. So I just want to extend my thanks to everyone and wish everyone a beautiful, blessed day and happy crafting. Have fun.